Hello and welcome to this week's Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. I'm particularly excited this week because we're releasing our newest program concept, which is called Wheel and Anchor Liveaways. Something we've been working on for the past couple of months. Some of you might recall having participated in a webinar we did back in the summertime where we talked about long stay holidays, and we investigated a couple of different places around the world where you might spend more than just a couple of weeks on your average tour, but rather spend a prolonged period of time. And so after a lot of thought, a lot of sort of careful planning and research, this has all culminated in this idea we're calling Liveaways. And so you'll find in the newsletter attached, you'll find the digital version of our magazine we call Inspirations, which talks about this concept of a liveaway. So what is a liveaway? Let me give you a sense of what's that all about. I know other tour companies have promoted the idea of long stay holidays before, but for us, being a travel community and being a group of people who really cherish and appreciate the connections that we forge with our fellow members and the other people that we meet while we're out traveling, we thought that a more apt title for it, not just the title, but the way that we run the program, was really more about living away. And so in anticipation of what's going to be probably a pretty tough winter for a lot of us back home in Canada, not me included, I must confess, but the pandemic is going to force us to stay home given the quarantine requirements and the travel restrictions. Let's face it, a lot of us are just not going to be able to go anywhere for the next few months. So as they've been saying in the news, it's going to be a bit of a rough winter. And so it will give us even more time to think about what our travel plans are going to be for the future, in particular next winter, when I think a lot of us are going to be even more anxious to get away to a different part of the world. And what's traditional for a lot of people in Canada are the typical snowbird destinations. You head down to Florida, Arizona, California, all wonderful places. And why do you go to those places? Well, you go obviously to get away from Canadian wintry weather, and because it's a lot milder, the weather is warm, but you also go because of the community of people that's there. It's familiar, everybody speaks the same language, you know the restaurants, you know the golf courses, all the places to go to. And so that familiarity is a little bit basically like you're taking your community at home and transplanting it to some extent down there to Florida. And of course, you have your own community down there. But I think for a lot of people, as we really ponder what this pandemic has meant for the world, not to mention other, political events that have happened all over the place, particularly here in North America, I think other people are starting to consider, well, are there other places that I might travel to spend those winter months? And so again, the idea of liveaways is that you get to live away from home in another community. And so we're presenting in this program 4 very unique destinations, a little bit different than some of the other ones that you might have seen, you might have come across. We're planning on going to Madeira, which of course is an island of Portugal in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Morocco. Also Cyprus, another island in the eastern part of the Mediterranean, south of Turkey. And finally, Ko Samui, which is an island here in Thailand, not far from where I am now, in the Gulf of Thailand. And then New Zealand, yet another island. So we're talking about 4 different islands in 4 different parts of the world, which offer 4 quite distinct experiences. What's common to them all is that there's going to be comfortable accommodation that we're going to be seeking out and procuring, junior suites, 1-bedroom apartments, this kind of thing. So you can spend a prolonged period of time and not feel like you're cramped into the usual hotel room when you're out traveling. We're going to have arranged a whole array of tours and excursions. Some of them might be just a couple hours. Some of them might be activities that you do in the community, in the communities that we're staying in, where you have a chance to meet some of the locals and learn how they cook their food and how they make their wine and all those different fun things. And again, much of it will be similar to what you would do if you were traveling down to the southern US or Mexico or to the Caribbean for the winter. It's just a different environment with different people and a whole different experience. And so I'm particularly excited about it. We had great feedback when we ran our webinar discussing this topic some months ago. And so this is our next step towards launching these programs. So it's an overview. It's not all of the details of these programs, but it gives you a little bit more fodder to think about as you consider what's next for you next winter and beyond. And so you'll find some very interesting information. There's a link as well inside the magazine to a questionnaire. And as you know, we're all about questionnaires, not because the information is really about us delivering the right kind of products for you, the right kind of trips for you. And so it's a very short questionnaire that just kind of says, does any of this appeal to you? Or do you have something else in mind? Should we be going somewhere else? I think there's a lot of other places we could be going for these Liveaways, and hopefully will be going in the future. But this is a first stab at it. And I think I'm super pleased about what we've put together so far. So take a look, take some time, ponder through that, and let me know your feedback. In addition to that, we had a terrific session with Sven from Panda talking about unusual river cruises in Southeast Asia. So there is a link to the recording of that. That happened just this past Thursday. And coming up on December the 9th, Wednesday, December the 9th at 7:30 p.m. a different time, we're going to be doing edition 3 of our incredible rail journeys, looking at the Indian Pacific, which is the east-west rail line that goes transcontinental across Australia, as well as the famous GAN, which goes from Adelaide in the south up to Darwin in the north. There is a slight change to the date on that. That is going to be December the 9th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be joined by one of our friends from down in Australia who's going to tell us all about those wonderful train trips. So please tune in for that. Have a look at our Inspirations magazine. Let me know what you think. And as always, I appreciate the emails, the comments on Facebook and everything. It means a lot to us. It means that we're doing the right thing for our traveling members. So until next week, I wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and look forward to catching up with you again then.